The very last time I played Black Ops 6 before making this video was February 16th, 2025. So nearly 2 whole months before this video, I quit touching Black Ops 6 forever, okay? Now in that time, we did get Shattered Vial towards the very end, and I did not play it at release, okay? So I did not play Shattered Vial at release. I didn't experience if there were any issues or bugs. So take this video with a bit of grain of salt when it comes to the launch experience. However, that said, the fact the map was good enough for me to be brought back in, and now that I'm actively playing Black Ops 6 again, I think that says something to the quality of this map. Now, it's not to say that it's a 10 out of 10 or anything, it's not reaching anything too crazy for me, but this is the real map in Black Ops 6, I think the first real map that is as good as Terminus, possibly better in many aspects, and we'll be discussing them in this video. How's it going, everyone? It is Dark Ops here, and today we're talking about why Shattered Vial actually revived Black Ops 6 for me, and why it's such a dang good map. Now by this point you should probably know that I'm a bit of a stickler when it comes to map design for these zombies maps. With the Tomb, I actually thought it was a pretty good step up. Citadel, not so much, and Liberty Falls also not so much. But with Terminus and the Tomb, I thought the map design was really damn solid. So imagine my surprise when Shattered Vial is not only just as good, but surpasses them in map design. Yeah, in actual map design, I think Shattered Vial might be better than those two. You see, Shattered Vial plays a bit similarly to Dead of the Night in a sense that you have the outside, you have the mansion, you have the retrospective west and east of the mansion, and then you have other layers beneath the surface, which Dead of the Night didn't have, but these are other surfaces as well that are in addition to the actual layout of the map. This is why I think it plays well, because it's more open while still having closed off spaces to make it more dangerous for the average zombies player. This is what I'm talking about when I say I want maps to be harder, so stop nerfing the actual player, make the map design harder to play. When you play Shattered Vial, you can see this in full effect. Now, I still have some problems here and there with the zombie spawns. I think they could be reworked a little bit, but aside from that, I think the map design is really strong here. Because, yeah, there is room to train around, but a lot of the time I'll actually almost go down, and I have gone down because I wasn't watching where I was going. The map design, I think, here really plays with how you're going to train around, because unlike in Dead of the Night, as another example, where you're running around the mansion, here, the mansion isn't quite that big. As a matter of fact, I was quite surprised at how small the main area of the mansion is. Once you get into the higher rounds, it can become quite difficult to actually train there. So I found myself training near the outside, training in the underground area, areas that aren't quite near the mansion just because of how crowded it can become. Especially when you have to deal with the Disciple. Now look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I thought this was a good idea. I absolutely hated the Disciple in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. I hated it in Forsaken, I hated it in Marauder Toten, and I still don't like it here. Now, don't get me wrong, the design of this enemy is one of the best in Zombies history. The design just looks so cool. The little spells from Vanguard Zombies, the little designs here and there that just make it so true to the game's lore. It looks incredible. That's not the issue here. In terms of design, 10 out of 10. In terms of audio and visuals, 10 out of 10. In terms of actual playing the map with this enemy, as an actual elite enemy boss, more like a 4 out of 10. I'm just going to be honest, I really don't like that they brought back the Disciple. I do like the design, and in terms of lore, and everything else surrounding him. But actual mechanics and being yet another spongy boss that just tanks bullets and does an insane amount of damage if you get close, it's absurd to me. Now, that's the thing, right? Because the actual Disciples suck, in my opinion. But the other enemy types on the map, the bombers from Die Maschine is what I assume they to be, they actually play really well. I actually think they're really good. Yeah, they're a little OP, I think. Just a couple hits and they can take you down instantly. I've been taken down a couple times by them just by their little explosion after you take them out. That can do some serious damage, so you should be careful when playing this map. But that's why I like them though, because they're actually dangerous and quite fast, but they're not spammy, they're not tanky. They're not insane tanks like the Disciples are. That's my biggest problem here, folks, with the Disciple. It has a unique design and somewhat unique playset, but ultimately only exists to be a tank. It takes all of the shots in the head until you eventually get into that final stage where you can actually take it out. Even with the Ray Gun Mark II landing consecutive shots on the head, it still takes quite some time. I don't understand what their fascination is with making bosses super tanky, okay? We had this issue with the Manglers, we have this issue with the Disciples. I don't get why they want these bosses to be this annoying to take out when you just made bombers on the map, which are pretty fun to take out, but they're actually difficult as well. They're not artificially difficult by giving them a huge health bar. They're difficult because of how they play on the map. Instead, with the Disciples, they decided to make the spawns somehow even worse, and that's what we get with the Disciple. It is simply an enemy that exists to annoy you, and it certainly annoys me every time I play the map. Now, does it ruin the map? Absolutely not. Like I said, I've been singing its praises this entire video. I don't think it does ruin the map. It just drags it down a bit from where it could have been, that 8, 9, 10 out of 10 territory that it was looking at so far. Instead, it's going to be dragged down because of these little things, you know? I really wish they would stop reusing bosses, especially when they reused the Mimic on the last map. Some have even gone as far as to call it lazy, and I'm not 100% sure where I fall on this, but what I will say is that when you're going to keep reusing bosses, and in many ways make them worse by adding on effects that nobody asked for, like with the Mimics adding electricity so that your HUD looks like a complete mess whenever you're attacked by them, nobody needed that. Nobody asked for that. You just made them more annoying and another reason not to play the tomb. And here with the Disciples, you just made them more tanky, made them less reason to actually play the map with these things in mind. I don't want to harp on this for too long, so I'll just conclude my statements with the Disciple as unnecessary. It didn't need to be brought back, and ultimately it just makes me less enjoy the map. I don't think the map's going to benefit from having it. What I will say though is that the bombers on the map are great. Keep them the way they are absolutely great. Yeah, there are many times where I get downed by them and make me rage quite a bit, but they're really well designed. I really like the fact that they are very deadly, move fast, but they're not too hard to take out. You can actually deal with them fairly easily. Yes, they're pretty much the same from D Machine, but I think their inclusion here was fine. I think it was dealt just fine. I think they really fit the map. In general, I think I would have preferred something from Dead of the Night, but if you're not going to include them, these guys do just fine, and I think they were a great addition to the map, making it more difficult and simultaneously still having a great map design. I go back to that because when I talk about Cold War and how piss easy that game is, not just due to the mechanics, but also because of the map design. Here you have harder map design while still being able to train, it's not oppressive, and you still have enemy types that can be deadly if you don't deal with them, which is what I think Shattered Vial does so well for me. It's actually somewhat difficult, while still being relatively easier, you know, with Warzone mechanics and Omni movement. You have plenty of ways to get around this, but it's still much harder than previous maps. Arguably the hardest map in the game so far, so it gives a lot of challenge overall to the player that's not necessarily completely artificial. It's not just artificial difficulty, but also the actual map design, and of course the enemies, and just in general how the map plays and feels. Now, to touch on the wonder weapons a little bit, because I don't think I've mentioned them too much in this video yet, the Ray Gun Mark II and its variants. Now, I will be the first to say that I did not care for the variants, alright? I have made all three of them. I don't care for the variants on this map. I honestly think it was a huge mistake bringing back the Mark II and the Wunderwaffe. Now, with that all said, the Mark II plays really well. And as a matter of fact, I would say that the Mark II in this game plays better than its Black Ops 4 counterpart and its Black Ops 2 counterpart. It handles really well, and with the inclusion of double tap, even despite the fact that I do hate that it is double tap 1, it does improve the fire rate to make it even better. So I can appreciate that the Mark II does handle significantly better, even though I would have preferred an original Wonder Weapon since we haven't gotten one in, I want to say, 3 maps now? Citadel was the last one, I believe. Either way, it still feels really, I don't want to say lazy, but it feels a little bit on the lazier side of things when once again we have the Mark II and the Wunderwaffe coming back from Modern Warfare 3, Vanguard, and I believe in Black Ops 4 as well. So that's almost every game aside from Cold War where the Wunderwaffe is featured in. I don't get their obsession with the Wunderwaffe, alright? Just let it rest in peace. We have seen it in every single game aside from Cold War. We just see it everywhere. Just leave it to rust, okay? Now, the Mark II here is nice, and the fact that it's on other maps apparently, even though I haven't seen it in the box, is a nice addition as well. appreciate that quality of life, and it makes me want to go actually replay the other maps just so I can use it over the regular ray gun. And the fact that the Ray Gun Mark II will be getting bundles for skins, this could be really cool. I really want to see what they do with it, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's pretty much all I have to say regarding the wonder weapons because they're not new. Yes, they do have the elemental versions. I know that you can upgrade them. I actually have upgraded to all 3 of them. And just to be honest, I would have preferred something new. I just wanted something unique to the map, not another Mark II. Double considering that Alpha Omega already did this and had the normal Mark II. So you're effectively almost copying and pasting from that map. The assault rifle model, the acidic version, and the apparently shotgun-like version, pretty much copy and paste. It's nothing different. It looks a little bit different and it obviously acts a little bit different as well. But you see my point here. When you go to Alpha Omega and you go to this map, the wonder weapon variety is practically the same thing. Of course, you don't have the Wonder Waff on Alpha Omega, but that's just in a mission, okay? Here, you just have the Wonder Waff as a consolation prize. I don't understand why it's here.
Are you out of your mind?
And I don't understand why that one's here too. It just seems to me that they kind of haphazardly put that together and just said, here you go. Take these wonder weapons, here you go. Now, the Mark II, again, plays fine, handles great, better than Black Ops 4, and overall a great wonder weapon. I just really would have wanted to see something new here. We got the ice staff last time, we got the swords that are completely worthless on Citadel, and we got what? The jet gun again? And we got the beam smasher that's complete garbage. So you effectively have almost no good wonder weapons in this game. Aside from the jet gun, ray gun, maybe one of the swords if you twist your neck a little bit, you can see that. It just isn't all there, in my personal opinion, of course. And to add on to things that aren't all there, there's no intro cutscene. Okay, this is a little bit of a petty complaint, and admittedly doesn't take away from the actual map experience, which they did mostly nail here, but it's still a pretty valid point considering this is another map with no intro. For people who are actually invested in the story, yes, there's a reason why this is the case, but for casuals and for people who just want to see an intro to the cutscene, it's really disappointing that we don't get it here. For those who are unaware, the Liberty Falls cutscene is the cutscene for this map. That's essentially what's been told, is that that cutscene applies to this map as well. But does that make it any better? Does it make it any better that they use that cutscene in Liberty Falls all the way back at launch for this map? No, it really doesn't. Because for people who are just getting into it, or for people who don't even want to begin to understand the Dark Aether storyline going all over the place, it doesn't make sense. I don't get why they didn't want to have one here, especially since we didn't have one for the Tomb either. And I don't remember if there was one even for Citadel. So that's back to back to back, no intro cutscenes. It's a petty complaint, but it's still a one I think that should be attributed to the fact that they just don't seem to really be handling the storyline all that well. And if the next map, Janus Towers, doesn't have another cutscene, people are going to be completely lost. How the hell we get here from Liberty Falls? How the hell did we get to a tower all the way from Liberty Falls in the mansion? I don't know. I sure as shit don't know. And you won't either, because they won't give you a cutscene. Okay, small complaint, but still something I wanted to touch on as we wrap this up, because holy crap, the storyline is all over the place, and I don't even want to begin talking about it in this video. So we will be avoiding that for the most part, but that's just my take. The intro cutscene, just put one there. Just put, even a small one, even a short one, just put it there. It gives more personality and improves the actual intro experience for new players. For people who are just getting into the map, they're going to be confused. Where's the cutscene? How did we get here? That's going to be the big question people are asking. But you know what? Whatever. I'll let it slide. Again, it's not a huge complaint. But it's still one that I'm like, really? This is another map without it? Whatever. Petty complaint over. So wow, that was a whole lot to cover there. Talked about the wonder weapons, map design, all that good stuff. What are my final thoughts on this map? Well, Shattered Vial brought me back into BO6 Zombies, and hopefully, I'm hoping here guys, I'm hoping the next map is also just as good as this map, which is to say, at least as good as Terminus, all the way back at release. That's what I'm hoping. The rumors don't sound so good, but please just give us another map of similar quality, improve on some things, give us a new wonder weapon for once. I know Citadel had the fucking swords, but they're dog shit. Give us, please, just give us a good, new, unique wonder weapon. Give us a unique perk, and I mean a unique perk, a new perk, not just reused, so don't give us Tombstone, Don't give us Mule Kick. Give us something new. Just give us a real new unique experience to wrap up BO6, or we're going to get another map in BO7. Just please give us something to wrap up the storyline well, because so far Shattered Vial was great. Overall, as a map, I think it's one that I'm going to be replaying for quite some time, with great map design, decent bosses. Wonder Weapon is fun to use, admittedly sore in some places. Overall, you really nailed it here. It pulled me back in. You have my attention again. Now, can you keep it with the next map? That's the question that I'm going to be asking, as this review took ages for me to complete, and I do apologize for that. But in large part, it's because the map was really good, and I want to take my time finishing this review. Just give us something nice to wrap it up, so that I can be positive more about these things, because Shattered Vial was a fun map. Admittedly, it was really good, and I said its pros and cons. Really good map. Just, they need to keep up this momentum and fix those little things, because those little things are starting to add up a bit, you know? No intro, no unique Wonder Weapon. It's really gonna add up a little bit, just as thorns to the game that could be great, excellent. It just needs to get these things done. It needs to just listen a little bit. And we could get an 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 map in this game. You can do it. I saw that potential in this map. But you gotta be willing to listen. And hopefully you do with the next map, Janus Towers. So, with that said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please slap that like button and subscribe. I could always do in addition to the Dark Ops Army. And if you haven't already, leave a comment and like as well. I would love to see what you guys thought of this map, if you thought it was great. I posted a poll. Seems like most of you like the map and even love it. So it seems like this map was a general hit overall. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dark Ops, signing out.